have that whole thing in at least a couple pictures. So around that corner. I know you're working on here, but for the pictures I got it.
That's fine.
I'm in that configuration.
Make like the water sampling, but
My interest is robotics, and there's two sides to that coin. One is developing robots that will permit scientists to get data that they could never get before. The other side is engineering research. We build tools that increase our access to the lake or to the oceans, because you have to go in underwater and take measurements for predicting pollution plumes and how pollution is going to propagate, whether you have to close your beach or whether fish are going to die. And then, of course, on a global scale with climate change. And if we have reasonable predictions, then we can start redesigning our society to make sure that these dire consequences don't hurt so many people. Here is the Lake Michigan amphibious robot that was born out of developing these systems that will allow us to get data with enough frequency, so we can now understand a lot of phenomena we could only qualitatively understand in the past. A great challenge is making systems that can go out, sense the world around it, avoid obstacles, and then come back. And you could solve that problem in a number of ways. Well, you have to solve it in a number of ways. One is through good mechanical design. The other is adding enough sensors so the animal can see the world. And then developing the software, how the animal processes that sensor information and then gives commands to its motors or its legs or whatever in order to stay out of trouble. It's a very rich and interdisciplinary sort of field of research, which I find endlessly fascinating. All right, so why don't you tell me what went on last week?
I basically got that battery and my controller kind of mount
Battery
set
and
up.
controller mounts.
And I was just finishing it up, kind of putting it on. And there's a few things that need to be adjusted yet, but it looks like it's going to work pretty good.
So we could probably get this thing back in the water.
Yeah.
We still have our motor tuning problem and stuff. Oh, and then we have to... I do my work with students and with a lot of undergraduate engineering students, and I think it's an important element of any engineering education, having students do a hands-on project. These robotic projects are particularly good because they're multidisciplinary. I'm really proud of the efforts of my students, and I think that's a big pillar of what I do. Mix the research into the, almost seamlessly into the education.